everyone, and welcome to public webinars by Frappe. Very excited and happy to see 95 to 96 people. Today we have Ronak with us, who is an IIT Roorkee alumni for some background from 2007 batch, and he is the co-founder of Auriga IT. And Auriga is one of our bronze partners, and it's a Jaipur based company with a team of over 220 plus professionals delivering services across ERPNext and many other tech services. Today's session is basically about simplifying your HR payroll system using ERPNext. So, Ronak is going to walk us through how ERPNext handles the managing of India's most dynamic workforces. And the webinar will focus on how FrappeHR is tackling challenges and for biometric things and bonus calculations. So, I'll let Ronak speak more about it. So, hi Ronak, how are you?
Hi, Babita. I'm doing good. Thank you, Babita, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is Ronak here from Auriga IT, and this would be first of its kind experience for me as well doing the webinar. So definitely very excited to share the knowledge and experience which I have gained till now. So let me just share my screen with you, and then let's start the presentation. So now, today we'll be talking about how we can simplify HR, payroll, and compliances. Specifically, we'll be talking more about the use cases of the manufacturing, facility management. So in the Indian ecosystem, the manufacturing facility management is very complex with a lot of daily operations regarding attendance and payroll processing. So we would see that how FrappeHR can help you do that. Okay. So before we move forward, I would just like to introduce a bit about the company. So we started Auriga IT in 2010 by a couple of friends from IIT Roorkee. We started working more of a design agency where we used to work a lot on the UI UX design work, then moved to technology work, and I right now currently working the data and AI vertical as well. So since last 15 years, we have worked with a lot of startups, corporates, governments, and right now a team size of 250 plus people. So these are the couple of clients which we work with. So we started our journey working with a lot of startups in India, as I mentioned. So maybe Shopclose, Meesho, Zomato, we worked with them. So I would say 7-10 years I spent working with them. And then we started moving more towards the enterprise clients in the banking sector, manufacturing sectors, construction sector. So if you would see, we are building custom solutions for Yes Bank, ICICI Prudential, Spine Labs, Ultatech, and a couple of other clients as well. So now how we landed into the ERP Next. So it's an interesting story. So we worked a lot in the fashion manufacturing. We have an software to digitize the shop floor of the fashion manufacturing, and it is operational in more than 6 countries, 150 plus factories. And when we were implementing our solutions to them, so it is in like tracking of the production system for them. So everyone was facing challenges with their ERP in the terms of either they were using a legacy ERP or they were still managing things on the Excel. And then we started exploring what are the open source ERP solutions available, and then tumbled upon ERP Next and FrappeHR. Loved it again, to be honest, loved the way it has been built and provided being open source. And then we started implementing FrappeHR and ERP Next for the manufacturing and the construction industry as well. So we started this journey 3 to 4 years back, and since then we have been doing a lot of implementations. So today, again, what I would be presenting is more based on my experience of working with these clients, where we have worked with the A to Z group, which is a facility management company with more than 10,000 plus people. So they have been using FrappeHR to manage their operations. Similarly, there's a company called Equiplus. They are into the manufacturing for the sports accessories, equestrian accessories. Have a team size of 1,000 plus. Again, they are using FrappeHR for their managing their I would say worker at the shop floor as well as their management as well. And we have also implemented FrappeHR globally, where the DTRT apparels again into the fashion manufacturing, which has 5,000 plus team members and have 7 factories. It's in the West Africa. That is where the FrappeHR is operational over there. And similarly, one of the companies in Thailand as well. So let's talk about what would be the agenda for today. So I would be focusing. So again, FrappeHR gives options from recruitment to exit. Again, it has a lot of processes and modules. Today we'll be focusing on two main part where the workforce management from their complete employee life cycle, attendance shift. So this is one of the very complex area in the manufacturing or the where the blue collar people work. So we will talk in bit more detail about that as well and the leaves. And then in compensation and payroll, we'll be talking about the how to configure the payrolls, how the tax and benefits can be applicable, the Indian compliances report in respect to the PF, ESI, and then how loans and advances can be settled against payrolls and doing the full and final settlement. So during the demo, definitely I would be talking maybe in the next 35 to 40 minutes, a very high level what we have done. Maybe we have done a couple of customization as well. So we would talk about that as well. But maybe more detailed queries, we can take it up later on at the end of the session. Meanwhile, you can drop your messages on the on the chat, and my team member Praveen would try to respond those to those queries which are very simple to answer, which does not require any demonstration. So without any much ado, let's go to the demonstration part. Yeah. All right. So now again, maybe a couple of you would be very familiar with FrappeHR. A couple of you would be very new to the FrappeHR. So would just like to tell you that here we have customized the UI a bit to support to the fuller screen, making the navigation very, very accessible. So it is very easily doable, but yes, so ignore that again if you find it a bit unfamiliar with the standard FrappeHR, but again, it's mostly similar except the navigation part and the full screen part over here. All right, let's talk about the problem statement and then we would jump into how we have solved it. So first is, so this is how the FrappeHR landing page would look like, where you can configure important KPIs. So right now we are showing that how many hirings or exits has happened every month. So this is a trend that you can see it over here. Now in the and let's go to the employee part first, where we would start adding a new employee. So here you would see the list of all the employees, and let's go to any specific employee. Okay. So here you would be adding the basic details of the employee that is joining over here. The basic is first name, last name, his father's details, date of joining, completion date. And then here you would be adding his company details in the terms of departments, his divisions, his employment type skills. So we have added a couple of additional fields over here because the client wanted to capture more additional fields in the user profile. So we have added like secondary department as well, primary designation. So a couple of fields has been created over here. So one thing which they also wanted, or that is a very much requirement, is the verification of the employee that is joining. So a lot of blue collar people join, but at times they are joining with a fake email, fake other IDs or something. So we wanted to verify those users. So what we have done is we have done a customization at our end where we're integrating it with the Aadhaar APIs. So as soon as you are onboarding any employee, they would get an access to mobile app where they have to put their Aadhaar number, or maybe on the system itself, they would put the Aadhaar number, they would get an OTP once you would verify. So it would fetch all the details from the Aadhaar, like his name on Aadhaar, date of birth, addresses, and everything, the PAN details as well. So you don't have to fill in. So you can just directly fill employee data and it would fill the employee data in the respective field. And let's assume if the name is getting mismatched, then it will also give you that is Aadhaar number mismatch, is Aadhaar name mismatch, DOB, PAN number mismatch, PAN, DOB mismatch. So that way you can verify that the person who's joining, his identity is being verified from the Aadhaar itself. Now here you can add a lot of documents. So we have validated that you have to get these details from the employee, his Aadhaar card, PAN card, voter ID. So a couple of documents have been made mandate. And here you can upload those. And after verifying the files, your HR team can approve those files whether after his validation. So now again, there are a couple of additional tabs over here where you can capture addresses and contacts, details of that specific employee. Now, in general, there are biometric devices being installed at the units. So you want to map the biometric device ID with this employee. So you would just put that ID over here. And so that when he's doing an employee check-in or check-out, you can map it with the attendance as well. Here we have created an additional field called OT applicable. So in most of the cases where the overtime is required and you want to track that for those specific employees, so you can just enable this flag over here. So if at any point of time is working beyond the shift, the overtime would be calculated and maybe he would be compensated based on that as well. Um, uh, you would add salary details, his bank details over here. Then the personal details, maybe his family background, his marital status, maybe his other details like passport details, health insurance details. You can add all those information over here. So this is how you would create an employee and put in the necessary information. You would also assign default holiday list, default shift to him as well. So as I mentioned over here, you can set up the masters in the terms of department, designation, division, employment type, employment group, grade, everything over here. And then if you want to look at the complete organization chart, you would just click on it, organization chart, then it would give you the complete hierarchy, who is reporting to whom. All right. So now this is complete hierarchy would be visible in the organization chart. So now this is a very basic thing what we would do to create an employee. Now let's move to the shift and attendance part. I think this is area where we would be talking about many things. Again, in the shift and attendance part, here you would be able to see the daily attendance, the absent, present count, and the number of people who are on the leaves. So again, it would show you the trend, and if there's any anomaly on the specific day, you can just check those details as well. Okay. So now I would just go to shift type. So we would do create a one shift. So let's assume we have a morning shift, staff shift one. And so here we would define the start and end time of the shift. If there is specific holiday calendar that is mapped to the specific shift, we would assign that as well. And whether you want to enable auto attendance based on the employee check-in. So I have enabled that. If I disable it, again, it would don't show me other settings. If I enable it, it would show me other more settings as well. So what are the settings? Let's go those point by point. So we can set whether we want alternative entries as in or out in the same shift. So maybe if it does check-in once and check-in, another check-in is there, it would count first check-in as in and then another check-in as out. But if you have a device where there's a specific check-in and check-out button on the devices, then we can set another settings which are strictly based on lock type. So you would get the details as well. How do you want to calculate the working hours? At what time you would like to allow the start time of the shift? So maybe he can check in before 30 minutes of the shift timing. After how many times is allowed to check out from that shift. So maybe right now the setting has been done as 150 minutes. Now at what point you would like to consider that as a half day? So if he has worked less than 6 hours, it would be considered as a half day. If it has worked less than 4 hours, it would be considered as an absent. So these are all the settings you can do it over here. Now, one more thing which in generally in India is required that people calculate short leave as well. That maybe he has done maybe 30 minutes less work only. So you want that you need to calculate short leaves because after every third short leave, it would be considered as an half day. So any fourth short leave would be considered as a half day. So this is one customization that we have done at our level where we have built in the logic that how it would impact the leaves based on the number of short leaves. As well as we have also done the customization on late entry or exit as well. So let's assume an employee has come late only thrice. So maybe there's a 10 minutes of grace period over here. And after 3 late entries, any additional late entry would be considered as a half day or any penalty would be applicable for him. So this all custom logic has been built over there. How much overtime is allowed in this specific shift, so we can configure it over here as well. So someone has raised a hand over here.
Yeah, maybe it's related to any query or question. So we will let them and we'll give them time after the presentation to bring up their question.
All right. So we have defined the shift. Now the next would be, so now let's assume you have a roster where there's a morning shift or night shift happening and you want to create the schedule. Let's assume for 15 days you would be working on the morning shift and then maybe next 15 days you'll be working on the night shift. Similarly, you want to create a roster. So here you can create a shift schedule that so here you can create a big schedule that every 2 weeks you want to change the schedule of that specific shift of that specific person. So you can create shift schedule and then assign shift schedule to the employees so that again they have an alternate 2 weeks morning shift or night shift so that you don't have to do the shift assignment manually every time. So it would automatically create a roster and then you would be able to look at the roster as well. So I'm just think it is taking a bit time to load. So maybe I would just open it. It's taking a bit of time to load. All right. So now we have done the shift type, shift assignment would be done to the employees. So you can create add shift assignment over here. You can select the employees, which shift type has to be assigned. So you can just assign, create the start date and end date of that specific shift, and the assignment would happen. Now, uh, what? So I would go to a bit of customization that we have done it over here is overtime and the gate pass. So let's assume if an employee is doing a check-in and check-out, but again, maybe he left the premises for a couple of hours for maybe the personal work or the professional work, and he's taken the approval. So in that case, you would issue a gate pass to him. Um, so, so let me create a new entry only. So here, let's assume Amit Kakkar is requesting for a gate pass. Then what is the reason, whether it's going in the personal or maybe an official reason? And what is his out time? Let's say out time is now. And we would save it over here. So now it would create a gate pass which you can print it as well and then get it signed by the respective authorities. And if it is going for the official work, then it wouldn't be counted as an like he has not worked on during those hours. But if he has gone for the personal work, then his attendance would get impacted based on how many hours he was outside the premises or the factories. So here you would create all the gate passes and it would tell you how many deduction hours has to happen for that specific working day. And and also there's one case that happened. Let's assume in any company, let's assume we are planning that for the next 7 days there's a huge demand to deliver something, and we need to give an overtime to a specific shift. We need to assign us. We need a specific unit to work 2 hours more for next 7 days to honor the commitment of the deliveries. So what we can do is we can just go to the overtime and assign that these two employees would be assigned 3 hours additional OT for the next 7 days. Maybe so maybe it can be assigned to the whole shift or maybe a specific line or maybe the whole factory. You can assign that these are the 3 hours allocated to them. And when they are doing the actual and then we are actually based on the check-ins, it would give you the overtime register that so based on the check-ins, it would say on the 1st May, these people have worked 2 hours, 3 hours as an overtime based on the check-in. Now, the overtime effective would be how many was allowed and how many they have done. So minimum of those two would be considered as the overtime, and your calculation of the salary would get impacted based on that. So that is one of the customization that we have done. So overtime and gate pass. And now let's go to the attendance part. So maybe I would just click on the monthly attendance sheet, how the monthly attendance would look like. So this is the monthly attendance report for all the employees, which you can filter by and the employee name, department designation. So how many days you were present, how many days absent, leaves, half days, late entries, short leaves, holidays which were there. So again, how many payment days? Again, it would color code as well based on the daily. So you can download this report. So right now we are seeing it for the July. So you would see that the entries are being done for a couple of days only. The data was present for a couple of days only. So this is monthly attendance report. And now if I go to specific any attendance, I want to see that how the attendance is being calculated. Just a minute.
Maybe if you can connect to a portable hotspot or another server.
Yes, I think it's just loading. Check. Just a minute. Praveen, in the meanwhile, can you check? I would just take the demo from the another one. My voice audible, Babita?
Yes, yes, Ronak, I'm checking. Yeah.
Babita, can you check whether the server is not responding or
Might be an internet issue. Have you tried
not?
connecting with any other server or hotspot or Wi-Fi?
Yes. My internet is working fine. Let's connect with the hotspot. Just give me a minute.
Frappe.io is working. Yes, Neha. Ronak is on mute. Maybe we ran into a technical problem. Yeah, it's clearly the internet, Ronak, at your end.
There's some issue. I have connected with the hotspot.
Ronak, you can connect with office internet again. It's working.
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you are.
Sorry for the interruption.
No worries.
All right, yes. So we were at the attendance portion. So if I click on any attendance, it would show me the working hours as well. And it would also show me how many overtime check-in based on check-ins, how many overtime was effectives, deduction hours based on the gate pass, whether there was a late entry, short leave, or early exit. So all those details it would capture it over here. And if there's any gap in the attendance as well, let's assume due to some reasons the check-in, check-out could not happen, then you can go to the attendance regularization as well, where you can do the regularize the attendance in the terms of any check-in has been missed or something. And if you want to do the bulk upload of the attendance, that can also happen from here. And there are a couple of reports which you have prepared: monthly attendance, shared shift attendance. Uh, there's also continuous absent report. So maybe the employees have been missing for many days. They have not been reporting. Generally, this happens in the manufacturing units where the people come for 7 days and they've gone missing. So here you can see the continuous absent report that these are the couple of employees who have been missing since last 7 days, 10 days. So that based on that, you can take the call or maybe do your planning as well. So that is mostly we should be talking about the shift in attendance, and then maybe now we can how it would be linked to the payroll and everything. We can move to that. All right, so we are at the salary dashboard. Here you would be able to see that again monthly salary release that has happened in the graph would be visible over here. Now the first thing is we need to define the first of all the payroll period, which would be the fiscal year, so 25-26, and then we would come to the salary components. So again, we can, so whatever components that are required in the salary structure, we would be configuring it over here. So maybe I would just take you to the one of the salary components. So here we put the name. So let's assume you have a basic. So you would just give the basic test. So maybe any abbreviation that would you give? What is the type of that specific component, whether it's earning type or deduction type? All right. If it's earning, whether it's dependent on the payment days, so would you like to pay based on the payment days, or again there would be some other formula that would get applicable? Whether you want to include in full and final settlement, whether it's tax is applicable or not. Deduct full tax on selected payroll date. So this generally this is required when let's assume you're doing any bonus payment. Let's assume for a specific month you're releasing a bonus of let's assume 50,000, and you want that whole tax for that bonus would get released in that payroll cycle only. Then you would select this checkbox. Rounding off again by standard, it has a checkbox called nearest integer. But again, couple of clients had requirement that for the ESI they want the round up or round down or nearest integer. So how they want to configure the rounding for each component, you can do that over here. Statistical component, it is generally required when you want to create a component based on some other formula and you want another intermediate formula to be required, intermediate component to be required to calculate it. So that won't be included in the salary, but just that would be used as a reference to calculate the another component value. Do not include in total. If you don't want to include that specific component in the total of the gross pay, you would exclude that. So there are a couple of components which only are part of CTC. So let's assume employer PF is a part of CTC. Perquisite, let's assume I'm giving driver reimbursement or driver salary. So it's part of CTC, but not included in the gross pay. So in that case, I would click this part of CTC. Now, these are the four things which you are seeing it over here are the couple of additional flags that we have created is accrual. So let's assume there's a component which gets accrued month on month. Let's assume there is a bonus component which I am not paying currently. I want to pay maybe 6 months down the line. So I would create a component called bonus and just click on is accrual. So now whatever formula which I put in the salary component. So again, I would just actually here, I would just go. So here we can put the formulas. We just use the formula, whether it's based on the total salaries, 50% is there, or it is based on 40% of the basic. So you can put all those formulas over here like base or into 0.4. So you can put in all the formulas. So now whatever formula which you are putting, let's assume to calculate the bonus. So now when it has to be paid, whether you want to pay in any specific payroll or whether you want to pay that in the full and final settlement. So if you create that component, it would get accruing month on month, and then maybe you can pay it maybe during the full and final settlement. And what would the payout component? So it would be, let's assume, bonus payout component. So you would just map it bonus over here. Then there's another case where you want to calculate the area. So case is that right now I am in July and I released a promotion letter or maybe an appraisal letter from my company that your promotion has been applicable since 1st of April and this has been your revised salary since 1st of April. So, but again, the April, May and June salary has been released. So there's an area that has been created. So if you click on this component is area. Okay. So this is what we are using. So once we are creating this in area, so an additional component would get created when we are doing a promotion. That maybe I would show it to you later that when we go into more details, and then you would map it that maybe so assume your component is basic and there's another basic area component. So it would get added to the basic component. And then this is whether this specific component tax applicable based on regime, whether it's applicable all on the regime or only on the new regime or on the old regime. So these are the configurations that we have done. And this is the account section where we would map the the expense where in which account it has to be booked. So if you want to link it to the accounting as well, so we can just configure that which account has to be mapped in the chart of accounts while creating the salary component. And here we would add the conditions. So maybe condition maybe that if salary is more than 21,000, then only calculate the formula, or maybe you can put up the various condition. Maybe the specific uh, component is only applicable to specific department, or maybe any other conditions which you can put it over here. And maybe, and if there are specific benefits which are flexible benefit, maybe let's assume driver salary is a flexible benefit, or so you can create, or LTA is a flexible benefit. So you can create that component, what is the maximum benefit that is yearly applicable for this specific component, and when whether you want to pay that specific benefit against the claim that has been raised by the employee, or would it only have the tax impact, or you want to create separate entries. So again, there are a couple of settings that you would do it over the salary components. Now I would go to the salary structure. Now those we have created the salary components, and now you would define the salary structure and assign those components over here. So here you would see that I can add multiple rows over here and assign what are my basic earnings that are over there. So maybe the basic, so I have put the basic formula is the total salary. It is the yearly salary by 12 into 0.5. House rent allowance is base into basic into 0.4. Bonus component, it is B into 0.1. But now I've put it as an accrual. So it won't be paid in that specific month, but would keep on getting accrued, and maybe it would get paid at the end of the payment cycle, or at the specific date, or maybe at the full and final settlement. Overtime amount, if I'm applicable for overtime, then there's some formula to calculate the overtime allowance. There's medical allowance, uniform allowance, driver salary reimbursement, car perquisite. So you would put all those details over here. And then in the deduction section, you would add all the components which would be deducted from the salary in the terms of income tax, voluntary PF, ESIC. Now, employer ESIC, it won't be deducted from the gross pay, but it would be counted in the CTC. So, but again, how it would be calculated? So we have put up the formula over here that how the ESIC would be calculated, employer ESIC, employee ESIC, PF So all those components are visible over here. And based on that, you would get the required report as well. So now salary component has been defined, salary structure has been defined. Now you would assign the salary structure to your team members. So you would just click on salary structure assignment, click on add salary structure assignment, and then select the employees, then fill in what is the salary structure that would be applicable to him. Maybe. Okay. From which date it is applicable, any specific income tax slab, new tax regime, payroll period, you would assign those details over here. And here you would fill what is this base rate, any variable component over here. And then here again, this is another customization that we have done. First is you would add that, let's assume that an employee is joining for the first time, then any tax that has been deducted by the previous organization that you would pull in over here, and the total earning till date. This is the custom value which we have created over here. So let's assume you want to give different uniform allowance to different people, or maybe different medical allowance. So you would just click on this medical allowance over here, put in the value over here. Now this value would get reflected in the formula. So this is customization that we have done. In the EPF as well, if someone wants to have a voluntary PF of maybe 10,000 rupees a month, additional PF that has to be deducted from his salary, whether deduction has to happen on the full PF or only on the 15,000, whether ASIC applicable or not. Professional tax, whether it's professional taxes from the Gujarat, Rajasthan, Kerala, you could select it over here. NPS, what is the NPS percentage that he wants to get deducted from his salary. So these are all the custom configurations that you do on the salary structure assignment and assign to that specific employee. And then you would run the payroll entry. So once everything is assigned, so let's assume I'm creating a new payroll entry over here. So payroll frequency is monthly. I am selecting let's assume 1st July to 31st July date. Here I would set whether I want to deduct tax on the unclaimed employee benefit or tax deduction on the unsubmitted tax exemption proof. So I would do it over here, and bonus payment made, whether I want to accrue the bonus or whether I want to do the bonus payout. I would just configure it, do the selection over here. Then choose the number of choose the employees. Let's assume I want to choose any employment type. Which is what happened. So for the specific employee, or maybe I can select for multiple departments, multiple branches as well. So I can get the employees based on the selection which I have done it over here. So if I select a branch over here, I would get a button to get employees. So no employees found for the specific branch. Maybe I would select it for the primary department. So it would fetch all the list of all the employees in the specific department, and then I can run the payment cycle for them. All right. So that's when you would create this. So, so this is I've raised for this, and then I would just go to the salary register. It would show me the salary that has been generated for the specific employees. Yes, so here you would give the complete salary sheet with the department, sub-department, his UN number, PN number, how many payment days, half days, present days, date entry, short days, all the details would be available over here. And all the components which you have configured it over here would be visible. Gross earnings, his voluntary PF, income tax, professional tax, advance, ESIC, loan deduction. So if you, sorry, yes. So if there is any loan deduction as well, then loan deduction value would also come up, total deduction, net pay, incentive based on the OT. So in this specific case, the OT would become over here that how many was the hourly rate and then final incentive amount. So this is the salary sheet which would get generated after creating the payroll. Now, here you would also get the report from the ESIC. ESIC. So if I click on the ESIC report, so here it would help me create basically a template which I can upload to the government for the ESIC challan. It would have all my ESIC information, my ESIC numbers, working days, payment days, ESIC employee contribution, ESIC employer contribution, total contribution is there. So would get the ESIC register. Similarly, I would get the PF register from here. Similarly, again, the PF register in the terms of gross pay, EPF wages, EPS, EDLI, so all the required columns would be visible over here as well. And then I have the bank mandate. So it's a simple report which would have the bank details of the employees as well, and where I would be able to see that yes. Yes, so you would able to see the amount that has to be paid for this specific employee. The bank details would come up, account number, IFSC code, and every other details would come up over here. So now coming to the payroll is complete. Now we would move to tax and benefits. So here you would be able to define all the income tax slabs. So which are available. Maybe I would create a new regime. So any changes that would happen on the income tax slab, I would configure it over here. 4 lakh, what is income tax slab? And then there's a marginal relief which is applicable, which you could set it over here. So if income tax is less than that, so we would just define them. I think it is based on the government recent norms that there's an relief applicable. and you would define all the salary slabs, and if there are additional tax and charges on the taxation part, then you would define the education cess and surcharge over here. So once you've defined the income tax slab, now you would have a lot of income tax, I would say, declaration categories as well. So here you would see able to see all the employee tax exemption categories. So over here, what is the maximum taxation amount? So you would just configure that. And then again, you can have multiple categories, subcategories. Employee can submit their proof using their employee self-service portal, all the proof of their exemptions. And here, maybe at the start of the year, they can do the declarations. So let's assume, let's open the private Kumawat. So here declare that monthly house rent allowance, what it would be, HRS for salary structure, total declared amount in terms of the exemption if it is there. So you would get all this report regarding the employee tax exemption over here. And based on it, the income tax computation would happen. All right. Yes. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. So now this is what we have covered regarding income tax. Now the couple of additional things which we have done it over here is the LOP reversal. So leave of pay reversal. Let's assume that my attendance was deducted. There was 2 absent that were marked last month because it was not approved by the management, and now I want an LOP reversal in the next month. So I can do the LOP reversal from here. So this was for one of the employees, so 29 paid days. So number of days planning to reverse. So this is 1 day of reversal for the last month salary. So in that case, again, in the new month, he would get the additional salary for that 1 day. I think I also talked about the employee promotion part last time, that how the area would be calculated or the salary appraisal calculation would happen. So I would just show you the salary calculation for a specific employee. So this specific employee, yes, yeah, yeah. So for this specific employee, so appraisal was done, but previous effective date of 1st April, and his revised promotion was on the 1st of May. So it would tell that what was the old amount, what was the new amount, and how much has been the difference. So this is basically the area which would get payable in the next month's salary. So this whole calculation of salary appraisal calculation is a custom which we have configured for the Indian payroll, and so that it would just help you streamline. You don't have to calculate the areas manually. So this is one thing that we have done, and I think let's go to the full and final settlement. I think anything else that I'm missing? Indian compliances is there. Yep. Yep. So we can talk about the now full and final settlement. Yes. So for any employee, I can create the full and final settlement once he's leaving. So let's assume he's given the resignation, and I'm trying to settle his full and final settlement. So last 2 months of his salary were kept on hold. So there's a setting whenever we are doing a complete separation cycle, you can mention that how many salaries you want to withhold. So here I've set up the 2 cycles has to be withhold. So when I'm doing the full and final settlement, it automatically fetch those 2 salary slips for the last 2 months and give the value it over to here to me. And then any asset that has been allocated to him. So let's assume I have assigned him a MacBook Pro, so it would cost it 40,000, and let's assume he has returned it, then it's not an issue. But let's assume I want to recover cost from it, he is not returning it, or maybe he has lost it. So I would just put the recover cost and put the value as 20,000 over here, or maybe whatever value I want to do it. And here, all the receivables, maybe any advance that I have given to him. Okay. Then it would fetch in all the employee advances that I have given to him. If there's any value that would come it over here. So I would just map the employee advances or any other loan that I've given to him and do the full and final settlement of the employee. So any gratuity calculation would also come into this. So we have set up the gratuity rule as well. So once you have set up the gratuity rule, so while doing the full and final settlement, it would calculate that how many years of experience do you have, whether your gratuity is applicable to you or not, and then would get that value on the full and final settlement too. Okay, and now let's we would just show you. So again, a lot of other things as well, but I think I would take a pause over here and just show you a couple of reports. Uh, so all the reports, daily attendance reports, continuous absent reports, monthly salary sheet, ESI, pay alarm, bank mandate, bonus summary, ledgers. What is the advanced ledgers, income tax reduction, computation would be visible over here. So now this is what we have implemented for various of our clients, and then there are a lot of dashboards also available. If you want to give an bird eye view to your management for the attendance dashboard, you can just click on the attendance dashboard. So now this dashboard can be customized based on your requirement, which KPI you want to see, what are the trend you want to see. So you can see all those design and configure the dashboards, whether attendance dashboard, HR dashboard, recruitment dashboards over here. So I think that's it. I think I would more focus on answering the queries now and take your queries. So thank you for the help.
Yes, yeah, I think there are a lot of questions which will make us switch back to the demo instance.
Yeah, and I would like to big thank you to the HybroLab teams. So they are the one who have designed the Indian payroll system on top of the Frappe payroll, and we have also added a lot of features on top of it. But yes, I would like to big thank you to them, and I would be open to more any questions now.
Yes, so let's now, I think we can stay on the system test instance because there are many questions where people want you to navigate and show them certain things. So I think Praveen has answered a lot of questions already, but just to take them up, I think the initial questions are not answered. So Salim Mustafa is asking, make a model of the biometrics you using. Does it work out of the box? Is there development that needs to be done?
So there are a couple of scripts so we have integrated two different kind of biometric devices, and it would work out of the box if that SDK is integrated. But again, there are a lot of biometric devices available in the market. So definitely we cannot say that it would work out of the box for all the one. But yes, we need to write a small Python script so that again it can happen.
Yeah. Manisa Sahu is asking, when somebody is working on holiday, will automatically it add on comp of leaves?
If someone is working on holiday,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
there,
so
yeah.
Manisha, basically, auto earn of compensatory leave is not supported. We can There is a option for compensatory leave requests. On the screen, you can see. Yeah. So we again there is a condition if employee there is attendance mark for the employee on holiday, then for that particular employee we can apply the compensatory leave request. So that will basically here one leave will be earned for the employee and he can apply it anytime. Auto adjustment and earn is not there.
Okay. I hope that answered your question, Manisa. Also, let me just enable talking for everyone so that you can also unmute yourself. Yes, Dipankar, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, I think Dipankar is not able to speak, so let me pick up some questions from the chat. Uh, how is the attendance data populated? Is it manually entered by a specific person or every employee has an account?
For the attendance, it automatically get integrated either with the biometric, and if you are doing so, again, there are two ways to do it. So if you want to enable using mobile app as well, where they can do the check-in, check-out. So if you enable the check-in using mobile app, then they would be able to do using mobile app. Or if it is integrated with the biometric, then it would automatically get added in the biometric. So here you would see that allow allow employee check-in from the mobile app. So if we enable this, then they would be able to check in using the mobile app.
Okay. Uh, there's a third-party API, SurePass. Using this, we can integrate. Okay, Praveen has answered that question, right? Okay. So many questions. I'm reading a question and it's getting overlaid by another question. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Jeevan.
No, we are running payroll for employees who are went on hometown.
Sorry?
While running payroll for employees, there are some employees who went to hometown.
Okay.
For them, we are holding the salaries. Let's say 10 employees went to hometown, we hold the salary for them.
How do you withhold the salary?
Yeah, withhold salary option.
So again, from here, so salary withholding, you can create a salary withholding for any specific employee. So maybe you can mark the reasons and then from which date you want to withhold them and for how many withholding
Yeah,
cycles.
same feature we are using. The problem is when we are releasing the salary, it is allowing to release 10 employees, not for a singular selected employees.
It is allowing only for
All the employees, let's say 10 employees in that month, we want to release only for, let's say, 3 employees. It is not allowing to release the salary for the 3 employees.
For that, actually, in the payroll entry, you need to select the employees like while releasing the salary. If you
Yes.
want to release, let's say for the five employees only, then select those 5 only.
So in the payroll entry, what is the issue that you are happening? So while you're creating the payroll entry, you can add employees manually, right? That again, these are the only 2 employees for which I want to release the
Yes.
salary.
So for them, we withhold the salary. When we are releasing the salary, it is allowing to release for all the employees, not for any selected employees in that list.
I have. So again, we have not run that specific case. So maybe if you can share that instance with Praveen, he can definitely help you with that maybe after the call because again, we need to
Regarding this, we
track
have a
that.
ticket also.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe what the best way to get your questions solved is you drop in your email or Ronak, you drop in your email so that we might reach out to each other and
Yeah, that's good.
get your questions solved. Yeah, because it's a specific use case based scenario. So I think they would be also helping you with implementing whatever is needed.
So maybe I'm just dropping my email ID over here. You can just drop an email to us and we would try to see if we can help you in that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let me take up another questions and anyone who is willing to unmute themselves can also raise a hand. Ananya, would you like to go next? Uh,
Ronak, can you move to that ERP Next tab?
Yeah, sorry.
guys who does not want to speak, do not raise your hands because there are many questions I want to take up. Could you clarify if Frappe has a provision to manage reimbursements raised by employees?
Reimbursement rates.
Raised by employees? I think yes, Shashwant. There is a provision.
We also demonstrate that case at daily as well.
The expense claims?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So you can define all the expense type over here. Maybe for the calls, food, others. So you would define all the expense claim types over here, and then employee can raise an again. So they can do using mobile app as well, and they can just. So right now I'm just showing from the admin interface. So let's say the request is from Akash, then he can just make an expense type that let's assume it's for the medical or maybe for the travel. Travel. So again, set the default account for the expense claim type. So we have to define that in which chart of account it is to map to. So right now I have not mapped it, so that's why it is saying the set default account for the travel. So once I do that, it would allow. So maybe the employee can enter the amount 20,000 sanctioned amount if it's already sanctioned amount. So right now it is coming from the admin, so admin can edit it, but the employee can only add this and. Then they can attach the document as well, and then the expense approval. So if we have assigned a specific expense approval for that specific department, he would get a notification, and then he can approve that expenses. And now this expense maybe can be settled directly against the payment that you can directly do the payment, or maybe if you want to do it, tag it with the salary as well. Then also we can map that expense claim against the salary too.
Got it. Right. Thanks.
So here you would get the report of unpaid expense claims or all the employee advance summary that you pay. Here someone is traveling to a place and we want to give him an advance. They would just give an advance for 10,000, and let's assume, and then later on he would raise the claim of 15,000. So we know that using this report that how much has been the unpaid expense claims, and would just pay him the 5,000.
Makes sense. Nice one.
Yes. Josefa is asking, do tax slabs need to be configured in a customized way in Frappe, or it can also be configured using a preset or any other way?
So when you install this Indian payroll instances, so there's a additional, so there's a GitHub account, there's a GitHub link which I can share that with you. If you install that, so it would come pre-configured with all the income tax slabs as per the Indian compliances.
Yeah. Ananya Venkateshwaran, we are an NGO using ERPNext for a small team of under 100. It seems that somehow the user permission for our sole admin account were changed, and now our admin account has no access to any of the custom doc types and web forms. We can't change permission or access any of our documents via the backend, but on the front end, those published are still visible. Any guidance on how to get back into the system and return our user?
Is it hosted on the Frappe cloud?
Ananya, can you please ask? Yes, it is.
So maybe, so when you log into the Frappe cloud, so on the site section, there will be an option to log in as administrator. Have you explored that?
Ananya, you have access to talk.
So if you have access to this
Hello,
Frappe,
yes.
Frappe cloud, then there's a 3 dot button over here, and it is an option of login as administrator.
Unfortunately, that doesn't show up for us anymore either. So we have no access to any of that. Where we can't log in is we're in the administrator account itself, and it's that account. So we have one administrator account, and we're in that account. And within that account, we're unable to do anything. So it's our administrator account itself that doesn't have any.
I'm a bit surprised because
Actually,
again,
we're
if you are
trying
logged,
right
so
now.
generally I have seen that if you log in using Frappe cloud and click from login as administrator.
Okay, it seems that we're set. Thank you.
No. So after this,
After
after logging in as administrator, do you have to do any steps to restore the permissions for the
Maybe you could just
for the
go to
user
that
that we had
user.
created?
Maybe you can just go to that users and just see that if the permission has been
Ronak,
changed.
I think you're muted.
Sorry. Hello. Yeah. Can we move to the next query?
Yeah, Ananya, you were speaking something.
No, that's okay. You can move on. Thank you.
Yeah, in case Ananya, your query is not solved, or if you are still not able to see it on your demo, I have dropped an email that is where you can reach out to the team who is working on this test instance and we can get it solved.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. There are a lot of questions, and half of these are answered by Praveen already. So I would request people to unmute themselves and okay, maybe I'll just pick up a few more questions. Okay. I want to calculate and show monthly and yearly CTC in salary slips and salary register.
You want to calculate it? So maybe if we just explain it in more detail.
Nayan, can you repeat your question? Like, do you want to see the ledger or something? He's saying yes.
Well, again, maybe can you just repeat your question? Maybe what is I may.
I want to calculate and show monthly and yearly CTC in salary slips and salary register.
Okay, in the salary slip, yes, definitely you can do. So, so salary slips. We are seeing here again. I think here you would be able to see you are able to see all the components, and here you want in the print format. Do you want to see the CTC component as well?
Yes, he's saying.
Yes, so then we can definitely customize this using the so right now this is the standard format or maybe any format that you have designed. So any component that is applicable in your salary slip while generating, you can get that filled in the salary slip as well. You just need to design the maybe customize this and do the customization of the PDF format and get those values and just you would be able to get those CTC parameters as well over here.
Ronak, if you can show the salary component, there we kept a field called is part of CTC. So using that, anywhere like in reports or salary slips or even on salary structure assignment, we can show salary that CTC breakup. So Ronak, can you show salary component once? So let's say this component is part of CTC, then we will check it here. So like your use case you want is to show CTC breakup on salary slip and salary register, but we have shown on salary structure assignment. So just if you can open the salary structure assignment. So there we have like configured the breakup of CTC. Yeah, assignment. So here, basically all the earning and deductions part, which were part of CTC, are shown here.
This would be your monthly and the annual CTC that would come up based on all the additional component that you have configured as part of CTC. Now, if you want to show it, this is one way. If you want to show it in the salary slip, then you can customize the print format and there you can show the additional parameters which are marked as is CTC and then you can show it over there. So maybe the script and customization has to happen over there. But and in the report, yes, you can add. So you can need to customize the query of that report and you can add that value as well.
Yeah. Dhruv Mashu has a question. I have a doubt if I have two companies in Frappe and an employee is added to only one company, is it possible for them to view the print formats or letterheads of the other company without using roles or permissions?
If you are two and the two different report formats and you want different formats to be visible across two organizations, right?
Yes, they have two companies.
So,
Dhruv, actually, all the permissions are managed on company level. Even that when you are asked, the letterheads are also configured for company level. So you will have to create user permission for
so
that particular
then what is the
employee.
problem? So I just want to understand what is the problem you're trying to solve it over here? It's the print format or it is the letterhead?
Print formats or letterheads.
So if it is the only print format, then print format I believe are accessible across the companies. But the letterhead are only specifically for the company. So if you want that again in the print format itself, you can define your header and you can write the HTML directly over here, so that in that print format itself, all the values or maybe all the designs that you want to see on the letterhead would come directly on the print format. You can design that print format here rather than using the letterhead option if you want to make it global.
Yeah. In case the query is not solved, just unmute yourself and let us know. Where do we configure Provident Fund in HR module? Do we monitor it through expense claim?
Which module?
HR module.
So what they have to configure? PF.
EOBI Provident Fund in HR module. I am not sure what does she mean.
So again, right now you have to create that component. So if you install the Indian payroll plugin, so it would come by default with the EPF and other settings over there. But in the FrappeHR by default, that is not there either. You have to customize that. You have to create that component of the EPF, and then put it in the formula, or you can install the Indian payroll and then again it would come over there.
Yeah.
I guess Manisha also have asked the similar question related to PF. So all the heads of PF, Manisha, will be configured in the salary structure. These are employer side part. So yeah, like this will be part, Ronak, can you show the salary structure once where we have configured EPF EDLI? Yeah, so just open employee salary structure. So here you can see all the components we have configured, the EDLI, EPS, admin charges and all.
Hi, Praveen. Actually, my question is like that. So we have one option in that salary company do not include in the total value, right?
Yes.
So for the employer PF and all this thing, I have already ticked, that tick box. But once the salary slip is getting submitted on that gross, whatever the gross salary is there, net pay. Okay, so for that one, like the journal entry is getting created. But what about the deduction part, which is already deducting like 6,000 or 4,000 is deducting from the gross
Manisha.
salary? Yeah, where
Yeah,
that
Manisha, again, your voice is a bit less audible. Can you be a bit more louder? Sorry.
yeah. Am I audible now? Is
Yes,
it
better. Yeah, better.
okay? My query is like that. Whatever the net pay info, whenever we are submitting the salary slip, okay, the journal entry is getting created. Okay.
Correct.
So that is the net value is getting created. But what about the deduction one, which is getting deducted like the employer PF, EDLI charges and all? So where can I find it? That
No, so anything which is do not include in total won't get impacted in the journal entry. So maybe at the end of the month when you're seeing the ESIC register, you have to do that journal entry manually. So as far as my information, my knowledge is concerned, that we have also handled it in the similar way, that where we were doing at the end of the month, we just went into the ESIC register, PF register, and then did the journal entry manually for that month.
okay, from the report you are basically
Yes,
telling,
yes.
right?
So yeah, so that's why we created the different monthly report for ESIC, PF, because that was the generic requirement for the all the accounts person, that how do we get this value in our accounting, and that's how we have handled it.
Okay, fine. Thanks, Roland.
Thank you.
Okay. Ananya, do you have any more questions? I can see you have raised your hand.
Yes, I was wondering, one thing we're trying to figure out is if there's a way to create an automated email that sends from the HR account after a document or application is submitted. So we're trying to use it as once we have an application, a job application that's submitted, to be able to then immediately send out an email. And same thing with shortlisted applicants. Is there an easy way to do that?
So when an applicant is applying for a job, you want to trigger an email, right?
Yes.
All right. So have you used the notification module of it?
No.
No. Okay. So here, so if you go to the notification module, here you can add all the notification that you want to get triggered whenever any specific action is happening. So
Okay.
let's assume I create an add notification. Let's assume an job application, right?
Yes.
So you can configure the subject over here, send alert on. So now here on which document? So it is job applicant, right?
Yes.
So you would create a job applicant, send alert on. So again, here you would have the value whether someone submits it. So as soon as send submit on. So once you configure that subject, who is the sender? So again, you would define that who is the sender of this specific email. You would configure the email account, and then what is the message, and then so this is your HTML message it over here, and then it would send an email to that specific user. So
Okay.
here again, what you need to do is you need to configure two things. One is notification and one is email account, because you need an email service to send that email. So configure email account and then the notification, and then just send this trigger and it would send an email.
Okay, follow-up question. Thank you. That's helpful. Follow-up question is if we have we have a custom job application because we needed to customize a job application for what we needed. And so we have a custom doc type and then a custom web form that we use for our job application. That has different processes to it because our job application has different rounds to it, of different interview rounds that an applicant needs to be able to get through. Do we need to create a workflow to be able to then have different statuses and then have a status trigger an email?
Yes. So in the workflow as well, there is a setting of sending an email. So let's assume, let me go to workflow here as well. So when you're defining different states, if you click on the edit over here, okay. So now send email on state, you would see this checkbox over here, right? Can you see it?
Yes, thank you.
And here you would define the email template which has to go. So you would create the email template, map it over here, select you want to send on this specific state, and it would send an email.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ananya. Umer is asking how about the site staff who can mark their attendance from the specific location only, like geofenced?
Yeah, so that is also doable. If you go to the HR settings, then you have an option for allow geolocation tracking. So once you allow this geolocation tracking, then they would be able to check in from their geolocation if the people are working on the field. So you would capture their geolocation as well.
Okay.
And you can also set the parameters. Let's assume that within this specific radius only. So for this specific employee, you can define the territory, or maybe I would say the coordinates under which he has to be there to mark his attendance automatically. If it is beyond that, if it's outside that territory, then it has to go through the approval process to consider that check-in as in the attendance process.
I hope that answered your question, Umer. Nayan is asking, we give monthly leave to our employee. When I allocate the leave for 1st April 2025 to 31st April 2025 for 1 month, but when employee applies on 1st May, these applications are not submitted because my leave allocation for 1 month. Nayan, your question is not very clear. Can you unmute and let us know? Okay. Can you please suggest what should be the base and variable? Oh, okay. That is, I think, a very subjective question.
So the base, generally, either you consider that as a CTC or maybe the gross salary that you are supposed to pay in general. And the variable would be, let's assume, a bonus component. So let's assume someone's salary is 15 lakh and 3 lakh as a bonus variable, which would be based on his performance or the company performance. So you would set maybe 15 lakh as the base and 5 lakh as the variable salary. So now during the um, um, so now this component would generally be used in the salary structure. So maybe the variable amount would be paid at the end of the year, but again that has to be decided by the management that maybe it is would be the 50% of the variable or 30% of the variable. So that we would configure in the salary structure, and maybe that value would be, so again that would be decided by the end of the year. So that's how it should be used. But again, it all depends on how you want to run your payroll.
Yeah. We only have a couple of questions remaining now because I don't see a lot of questions coming in. Also, anyone would like to go ahead and unmute themselves, please feel free to do so.
Hi, Ramak. One question here. So, when doing the salary structure assignment, we are specifying what is the base and what is variable. So, generally, how exactly we are doing is we say 10% of the CTC is the variable and it will be paid on the month of March. So, right now, what we are doing is we are still adding the variable component, and we are to that we will say that okay, on the month of March we will create a additional salary, and then how that's how we are processing, and it is coming in the correct manner. But then without adding it as a additional salary, can we just add some formula, say in the variable component itself, say it should be credited on March month is equal to 3 or something like that, and then process it without using the additional salary?
I believe so that if we can put some formulas over here.
So yeah, Ronak, basically in formula also the date parameter, date function is accessible. So
Okay.
the start date, both start date and end date of payroll entry, or you can say
Okay.
salary slip, both are accessible, so you can use them.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Anuradha. How can we maintain talent management in HR module, uh, like roadmap for skill training and retainment?
Okay, so again, so there is an basic module of mapping the skills of the employees. So here you can create all of your skills and then map those skills against an employee. But now to create a roadmap, so what you can do it over there. So there's no specific, I would say, roadmap over here, but I would just tell you that what best you can do. So let's assume let's assume I'm assigning few skills to me on let's say V. And right now, let's assume my communication skills are at the 3-star level. Evaluation date is that, and I would save it, let's assume. Now I can design a training program for it. So I can create multiple trainings. So if I have added kit, I have multiple training events and I can assign a training date to him. So this is what you can do it on the FrappeHR. If more complexity is required, maybe we may have to customize that where you want to map the skills based on the designations, and then what are the skills required for the next designation and where are the gaps. So maybe that would require a bit of customization over here, but this is the rough framework that is available. The foundation is available over here.
Okay. Arun, you're going to going next. You have unmuted yourself, I can see. Okay. Shashwat is asking what is the process of adding the geofencing customization?
So what kind of customization do you need?
Yeah, yes, Praveen has replied to it, I think. You can reach out to Ronak or Team Auriga. They can help you better with customization.
So
Yeah. Is there any other question, Shashwat, that can be solved now?
I think that covers it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. Do reach out to Auriga team.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of questions now. Still, if I have left any questions, please do add it in the chat because a lot of questions has overlapped. Anto is asking multiple shift, that is Monday to Saturday and Sunday. How will you set this? Like different shift timings they're saying.
Multiple shifts, that is Monday to Saturday, 8 to 6:30 and Sunday is 10 to 6. How we will set this?
There is a shift schedule. Have you tried that? The shift schedule of type.
So you have to create two shifts. You have created two shifts, and now you need to assign the shifts. Okay, so you can use it. Maybe if I'm understanding your problem correctly, so I would just go to. So let's assume this is Monday to Tuesday shift. So here you can add that on which days you want to repeat this shift. So I would create that. Let's say I created one shift which is 8 to 6. Let's call it shift 1, then another shift called 10 to 6, 8 to 4, and 10 to 6. Let's assume. So here, when you're creating a shift schedule, you would say that again shift type 1, which is shift 1, it should repeat every week from Monday to Saturday. And then one shift type, which is shift 2, would only get repeated on Sunday. So now you would assign this shift schedule to the respective employee. So for Monday to Saturday, it would be one schedule, and on Sunday, it would be another schedule. I think there's one question which is being asked: what is the relationship between HR and manufacturing? So, so is it the question that why it is being this session is being called as a focus on manufacturing side? Is that the question, Vaishnavi?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. So I think so when I told that this session is more about manufacturing, because a lot of these complex rules like the short leaves and then calculation of overtime, gate pass. So these are the specific rules. I believe that more are required in the people where there's a lot of blue collar people working in it. Generally, these are not required in the standard corporate setup in general, based on my experience. That's why we've told that this is a specific use case where we have worked in all the sectors, and this is the specific use cases which has come across in the facility management or where a lot of blue collar people are working in, or the gate pass, overtime calculations, and how to map it with so that 3 late entries, then calculating the next short half day leaves. These are all the custom logic that we have built specifically for this industry. I won't say it would work for any industry, but this is more prevalent in this industry. So Govind Sen is asking if employee come in other shift, then assigned will take it automatically. So in that case, you have to enable multiple shift assignment. That is only possible if you allow multiple shift assignment to the employee on the same day, else it won't happen. So here, allow multiple shift assignment on the same date. So if you want the employee to work on any of the shifts, then you want to allow multiple shift assignments, and then only his check-in would be considered in that specific shift.
Okay. Yes, I don't see a lot of questions coming in. I would also request people to fill in this public webinar feedback form in case the webinar was helpful and if you want more things and what is the expectations in the upcoming webinars. Bala has a question. How you are managing non-taxable earnings, deductions before tax calculations and annual taxable amount if an employee changes his resume in middle of a financial year?
So if an employee changes regime in the middle of the financial year, then whatever declaration that he has done won't be considered in the income tax calculation going forward. So maybe let's assume I was in the old tax regime. I have submitted my deductions. I have submitted my couple of exemption, and my tax has been calculated till that day. But let's assume if I change my tax regime, then it would recalculate my all the taxes for all the earnings that has happened till now, and then prorate that tax for the next upcoming months. So it would consider those earlier earnings and deductions as well while calculating the future taxation.
Yes. Thanks, Bala, for that question. So I think it's time we have come towards the end of this session, and I think we are not seeing a lot more questions coming in, and hence we are wrapping it up. So thanks, Ronak. As I always say that HR payroll is one of the crucial and one of the sensitive modules on ERPNext, because all industries want to customize it in their own way according to their own use case. So ERPNext being an open source, it allows you to do that, but partners like Auriga, they help you with the implementation and gets more easier for all your industries and companies to use ERPNext. And also there are a lot of feature requests, I guess. So kindly put it in the webinar feedback form and raise a request on GitHub in case. So the team is working on FrappeHR. It's a progressive module, so we will definitely look into it and work on the best way possible. So thanks, Ronak. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think it was good answering those questions. I think the people who have come here are very familiar with the Frappe HR and know the and were asking very specific questions, which I think they have tried out at Frappe HR and were not able to solve it. So it was good if I was able to help them. My team was able to help them, and that's it. I think. And to the Frappe HR, keep continuing the good work which you are doing to the Frappe team.
Yeah, that was a pretty informative session, and thanks, Ronak, for taking up all those queries as well. I hope our audience enjoyed the session. Please do fill in the public webinar feedback form. It helps us to improve the upcoming sessions, and also for us to know if you find our sessions important or insightful. We look forward to a lot of such webinars solving all your industry specific doubts. And till then, take care and see you soon.